Harrow residents fetch water from a community borehole. Photo. Farai Sean Matish Chitsa Maz Hindu stood outside her apartment block in Bear, a densely populated suburb of Zimbabwe's capital, Harare, waiting for a truck. The 55-year-old is a volunteer at Bear's hand-washing stations, so when that water delivery truck arrived, to fill up a 200-litre tank used by thousands of local residents, Maz Hindu began to sanitize the delivery, ensuring there was enough detergent mixed into the water. Most people cannot afford to buy soap amid shortages of clean water here in Bear, said the mother of four. For the past 5 years, she added, she has only had access to running tap water an average of 3 times a week. As the water crisis in Harare deepens, NGOs including GOAL and UNICEF are providing clean water in Mbare. Photo. GOAL Zimbabwe as incomes across the country continue to fall, basics such as soap and hand sanitizer are too expensive for most. The lack of access to running water and soap means that most of Harare's residents fetch it from open wells in the wetlands, while others head to the area's few community boreholes, where they risk contracting COVID-19 due to overcrowding, complicating Zimbabwe's fight against the virus. Over 200 people in the southern African country have now died from coronavirus, while more than 7,000 people have been infected. Harare, the epicenter of the crisis, is struggling to provide water to its more than 2 million population, blaming poor infrastructure and the impact of a 2-year drought that has seen water levels drop in Lake Chivaro, the capital's main water source. Harare has a demand of about 1.2 billion litres per day, yet the city is only pumping an average of 170 million litres. In some suburbs, private companies are cashing in with home deliveries, but only for the small amount who can afford it. Water is a perennial problem that we need to solve, the city's new mayor, Jacob Mafuman, recently said on Harare's official Facebook page. What we have at the moment is that we have 2 dams that have run dry, and we have a plant that we had to decommission. That has put pressure on the 2 sources of water, that is Manyan and Lake Chivaro. Yes, we have been managing. There has been water to some suburbs, but we are not where we ought to be. We ought to do better. In Bulawayo, Zimbabwe's second largest city, some residents have spent up to 3 months without running tap water, as reservoirs run dry, at least partially, because of global warming. The situation is bad, said Ambrose Sibande, who runs the Bulawayo Residents Association. When residents access water from the few boreholes, they will not be observing any social distancing. Close quote. Bulawayo city authorities in partnerships with NGOs are using water delivery trucks to deliver to residents. Photo. Farai Sean Matish. The situation has made it impossible for Itai Ruzik, an executive director at Community Working Group on Health, to preach good hygiene. This is negatively affecting the COVID-19 health literacy response, Ruzik told Vice News. It is becoming very difficult to continue urging the residents to regularly wash their hands in order to prevent COVID-19 when people do not have water in their homes. Close quote. In response, NGOs such as Zimbabwe and the United Nations Education Fund have teamed up to establish more than 50 hand-washing stations in Mbeya through the Water, Sanitation and Hygiene, Wash, Prevention and Response project, which started in June and is expected to end later this year. Ruben Chiham, 48, another water station volunteer, explained that it's not just coronavirus people have to worry about. Before coronavirus we were already facing risks of typhoid and cholera, he said. We get water twice a week at this block of flats. Unfortunately, it's during the night. Close quote. Patrick Mirareye, a WASH project manager for Zimbabwe, told Vice News that around 30,000 people rely on hand-washing stations every week. This initiative is actually life-saving, Mazindu added. Zimbabwe's target is to eventually reach a total of 360,000 people in Mbeya. Mbeya is one of the most high-density areas in Harare, with high population and congestion, said Gabriella Prandini, Goals Country Director. The popular Mbeya market is a central congregation point for farmers from various parts of the country, both rural and peri-urban areas, coming from outside Harare to sell fresh farm produce. Close quote. She added. Mbeya has arguably the busiest bus terminus in the country for inbound and outbound traffic, for which there are high volumes of people who pass through it on a daily basis. The high population density at any given time makes Mbeya a high risk for possible coronavirus community transmission and spread. Close quote. Harare's Residents Trust Director, Precious Shamba, said the intervention by NGOs is welcome, but city authorities need to come up with a long-term solution to the water crisis. Only a few residents are benefiting, said Shamba. Community shallow wells are drying up, and with very few community boreholes, the demand for water continues to rise without any sustainable solution in sight. Close quote. Mayor Mafum has promised that, in the long term, the city will work with the government and the private sector to build enough dams to match its growing population. Post published in Featured.